October and tomorrow is Halloween. Can you see me? I don't know. Today I have this bell jar that I'm going to reset up and remake. And originally I was going to take the soil down from the inch to this 1/2 inch. So I had this already set up and ready for sand, but I'm going to go without the soil. And also the reason I'm going to be taking out the soil is because you can't really get a very deep substrate in these little 1-gallon jars. And since you need a large sand cap on top of your soil, it's gonna just take away from the available water column space for your fish. So that's also why I've decided to go ahead and take out the soil. Now, if I had like a 5-gallon jar, I would do this, but this is just a little bell jar. Well, this shouldn't be here. Put you down, get the sand I've got is pool filter sand. I've got my towel. This is just pool filter sand that I got from my pool supply store. This little ice cream cup that I am reusing. I'm not gonna do anything fancy. Like, I'm not gonna do like high in the back, low in the front. I'm just gonna make it all one level. So that's about 2 inches. I'm gonna add probably just a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Now this takes up a lot of room, but the reason we do the deep sand is to try to get the nitrates from any waste to go down into the sand and get treated down here at the bottom. All right, the water that I've got is from my 40-gallon aquarium. So it's going to already have hopefully some good beneficial bacteria in there to get this started. If you do not have an existing aquarium though, you can just add any kind of dechlorinated water. So if you add like well water, that will be good. But if you just have city water, just make sure you get a dechlorinator and add the right amount of dechlorinator. If you're going to use this for like a betta fish, just drinking water from the store in 1 gallon will be fine, and those are like 50 cents per gallon. You can use that as well, and then you don't have to add dechlorinator. But get drinking water. Don't use like RO water or distilled water. You're gonna want the mineral content that's in the drinking water. And if you go and visit Father Fish's channel, he talks a lot about why well water or deep well water with a high mineral content is better for the fish. Most fish that you get from Florida are gonna be bred in the hard water. So, but hopefully whatever water you're using is gonna be like very similar to the water that your pet store is using, so it won't be a problem. The dwarf hairgrass comes in either a mat or in pots. I recommend buying pots if you can. If you get the mat though, like I did, you can pull it out of the coconut core, like you see me doing here, and make larger bunches of it so that it makes planting easier. And this dwarf hairgrass is different from the one that I just used in the jar because these were grown in pots. They're more condensed and bushier when they grow in the pot like that. And I like, if you can find it in the pot, I like that better than the mat. That mat of grass looks like this now. All right, so let's talk about some plants that you could add. I have some baby Java ferns that I have taken off of the leaves from these larger Java fern plants. This is something you may not want to add in here as a big plant, but it's possible to take all the little pups, I call these pups, and put them on a piece of driftwood. You could take them off of the leaves if you have them and glue it onto like a piece of driftwood and put that in here, but that would be temporary because once it gets to this size, you could at that point move it and put it somewhere else. Maybe you have a larger aquarium at that point and you can just put everything into your larger aquarium. I think it would be okay in a 10-gallon. A 5-gallon might still be too small. The Java ferns are pretty tall, but they also, you may not want to always have baby Java ferns that you're pulling off if you don't know what to do with them. Like, I don't know what to do with all these. So I've found that the Java ferns are not necessarily the best plant if you don't have a lot of aquariums. Starting out, you may not. So they're not the best beginner plant because of that, if you don't know what to do with all these babies. I might glue them onto a piece of driftwood or a little rock. I could do that. I've collected some rocks. And let me show you. I used some cotton string to tie on some Substrate that I received from a friend. I have tried tying Java fern onto driftwood, but I find it's easier now to use the Gorilla Glue. It takes a few seconds to set, but it's worth it, and you're not left with string that you may eventually need to cut free and remove from your aquarium. I'm going to fill this back up with water, and then we can talk a little more about plants. So I caught some Danios. They just kept wanting to enter into this container as I was getting some water, so that would be interesting to see these little Danios start a cycle in here. But I'm gonna put my hand like this, and that works like a colander. It won't mess up the sand as I'm pouring the water in. And here's a Danio. This is a zebra Danio. You can add more of these and just let them float in here for now. Now, how easy was that? I'd say that was pretty darn easy. All you need is just some sand, whatever sand you want. Go ahead and get you whatever sand you can get. I like the pool filter sand. I like the size of the grains as far as gripping the plants. And I like it because I can see when I need to add more sand. So as this gets going, there will be like a layer of malm or debris that will sink down into the sand. And if it's not sinking down into your sand and it looks like it's close to the surface, that's when I know I need to add more sand. Those nutrients otherwise are going to be in your water column most likely. Yeah, I'll see how these zebra Daniels like it in here. It's probably too small for them, so they'll get relocated here shortly as soon as I'm done with the video. I have another plant idea that I would use in a 1-gallon jar like this, and it's the Crypt Tropica plant. I believe it's Tropica. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself and I'll leave like the name of the plant. But I can show you, I've added 4 of them to my 40-gallon, and they are 4-ground plants that probably won't get very much higher than this. And they're really nice plants. They don't seem to require a whole lot of lighting. If you do find your plant it needs more light, just increase the duration that it's on. And another plant that could be good is the Anubias plant, but the Anubias plant roots have to sit on top of the soil. They can't be planted down into the substrate. The roots will rot and die. So they are a water column feeding plant. But they do tend to grow algae, or algae seems to grow on them really easily. And I think that's because they're a low light plant. So in that case, maybe then reduce the amount of time your light is on. But even when I do that, I still find algae on my Anubias leaves. So yeah, let's go ahead and look at that crypt plant, okay? All right, here is that crypt plant, and you can see I have it in the foreground. You can see these ones are in my 40, and these are the original 2 crypt plants that I put into my 40. Try to get the glare out of the way. So they have had a few more weeks of growth than like this crypt plant. And this one's not getting quite as like tall, looks a little more flat. And this guy's kind of spreading out a little more. He's probably getting a little more light. So that I believe would be a good option for the 1-gallon jar. And you could just do, if I had more of that dwarf hairgrass, I would use that as well. So 4-ground plants though are what you're going to want to choose, or like a small Anubias plant. All right guys, so I hope you can see me. I hope I've been on camera. I'm not sure. We'll see what it looks like in the edit. This jar aquarium, it's all done. It was very easy. Just add your 3 inches of sand, add the plants, whatever plants you can get, put them in there. I chose not to add the lava rock back in because it was just taking up too much space for this little jar. It looked really nice, but I'd rather my fish have a little more space. And I'd rather there be a plant in the middle to help with the nitrates and help denitrify the bowl, which that's gonna happen down in the substrate. And that won't happen unless your plants are sending their roots down in there to help do their job, which is denitrify the system. So I can send a link that talks more about the denitrification process with the deep sand beds and how it works. But you're gonna just need your light down here. You're gonna need your plants and at least 3 inches of sand. But yeah, so that's about it. I hope you enjoyed watching this setup. You can keep watching and check back for updates to see how it's doing, or you can go start your own today. But that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing if you have, and if you've left comments. I enjoy reading your comments. So and I will try to answer any questions you have. Keep it sanded, keep it planted, keep it natural. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that tropica plant, let's go ahead and I'm getting tired because I'm kneeling. Okay, so thanks guys, bye. I don't know how to get these Daniels out of here now.